You made it, lock in. Court lights flicker, I'm feeling that tip-off fever. NBA dreams spin tight like a crossover sleeper. 4th and inches in the cold, crowd breathing like smoke. NFL grit in my voice when the pressure get woke. Engine scream through the night, that F1 razor. Lines cut clean, turn sharp like a hometown savior. NASCAR drift in my blood when the pace gets wild. I talk speed like a veteran, move calm like a smile. Legends born out of sweat, out of heartbreaks echo. I break plays down smooth, call the game like a maestro. Every lane that we touch, every story we show, this is where the truth runs. The NotBland Show. Fast, race, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch the moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with a champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the NotBland Show.
Lock in.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. You made it. Let's lock into the NotBland Show. And man, we got a great show. We're going to have Jason Harris on of the Party Time Pro Mod. He was your winner of the first race of the Winter Series. He's the only man that can go for that a milli. All right. So we're going to talk to him about what's been going on throughout this time, getting ready for the U.S. Street Nationals, and that's going to be fun. I want to thank everybody that is a part of this show, Everything Nitro, where we get our stats, DragRaceReference.com, Sports Journey, of course, and the Bill Payer, Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. I know in the comments, people asked about the code to join the league for next year, and I will have that running in the ticker. And we'll go to this commercial break to show how you can sign up if you haven't done that. And we'll have Jason Harris when we come back.
Drag racing fans, check out Drag Race Bracket Bonanza. It's the free, family-friendly fantasy bracket game. Now, after final qualifying at every national event, you can fill out your bracket for all the pro classes.
It's free, easy to click on your picks. If you need some help, just hit the randomizer button to fill in the blanks. It's for fun, stay engaged, and pick your winners today.
Jason, how's it going, buddy?
What's happening, guys?
Man, I tell you, it's been a quick, we get through Thanksgiving, we blow through Christmas, and here we are sitting at January, and you're looking to try to continue the winning streak set forth out of race 1 of the Winter Series.
Yeah. I mean, it seemed like once we got back from, that's a very hectic week. You know, you got a whole week of racing, then you get back, then you got to hustle to PRI show, then you got to get back, then you got to get to the holidays and get some kind of normality back in your life for your family and everything. And as racers, I don't think normality kind of goes with us very well, but we did. We had a good holiday. Kids were good. Just getting back into action. Get everything tore down, looked at, make sure everything's good to go so I can get back at it.
Yeah, it's going to be, I think it's going to be really, really fun here coming up in the next week. And if you haven't liked the show, like it, share it. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you're doing that. Look, how much time do you have? You thought, that's bad. How much time have you thought about this, Winter Series race with, since this Snowbird Nationals? Now you're going into the U.S. Street Nationals. How much has that been on your mind?
Definitely. I mean, we came off a win at Virginia at the last PDRA race, so we kind of had some momentum going in, and it kind of flowed over into U.S. Street Nationals. But coming home, we had to get everything tore down, make sure all the car was good. And I mean, I've had a lot of time. I've done a lot of podcasts. I do my own podcast, Boosting Bullshit. So we get time to talk about it, and it's been such a great win for me. I mean, I've gotten more press out of this than I have, 4 championships, but it's been a great deal for me. We got everything back together this week, got the car fired back up. My dad's at home. He got the trailer straight for me. He's retired, so it's easy for him to do that. Kind of got back in the swing of things at work and came home, and we're just getting right back into racing stuff. I know a lot of guys were doing testing and things down in Bradenton the last week or so, but I look at the air during the day, every day, look at the weather, just kind of see where we're going to be at going into U.S. Street Nationals. And last year I got sick during the World Street Nationals. I got the flu pretty bad. And like the day before we were about to leave, and I lost like 9 pounds in 2 days. And it wasn't meant to be for me for that race. And this will be the first time in a long time I've been back to the U.S. Street Nationals, but I feel like I'm carrying a lot of momentum back in. I think a lot of people are gunning for me. I got a big target on me, but I'm going to take it round by round. That's all I can do.
Anything new that you've done to the car since since the Snowbird Nationals?
A new set of rods. That was it. It was going to be about time for rods when I got home. And being that we went so many rounds, it was a 5-round race and we had a lot of qualifying. We were getting close to needing rods. Took the motor to TKM, then guys tore it down, went through it for me. I got a lot of people behind me, sent my blowers back to Hearts, let them look at them, make sure everything was good to go. Just nut and bolt the whole car. Went back to Victory Vinyl, got a few things fixed on the vinyl, the throwback wrap that we did for party time. Just basically started over again like we're going back into a new season. But, and anything can happen. You're going into racing. We're going to do some testing down there and just make some laps, make sure we got everything back together and hopefully repeat.
Will you have the same crew, and are you trying to duplicate everything that you did from the first race?
Yeah, I've had the same crew for the last probably 10, 15 years. I've lost a few guys that kind of stay in the background that help me during the week at home. I've got Paul. He's my main car chief. He kind of helps everything for me. He's been with me for about 15 years. Travis McCormick with Southern Diamond Company came on as a sponsor and just ended up being one of the crew guys that we got. My wife's going to fly down after she's done with work, and she helps out a lot. My dad's always there. And then I got the Nasty Racing guys. We've been partnering up for the last, year and a half, and they always help. But same things going into it. We're looking for the same results. I think A to B and the battle of attrition is what you're going to do. I mean, you try to maximize each run, and that's the best you can do.
Yeah. This whole thing with Wes Buck and what they've done with the, Drag Illustrated Pro Vermont Winter Series, what are your feelings on this overall? Like, it seems to me that, there's a lot of things that Wes does that, he really has, not only because of the passion for racing, he has a tendency to elevate these things. How does it feel within this whole thing of the Winter Series? I've heard people say it almost makes you feel like you're, like a superstar. What do you?
Yeah, he definitely does. And coming in like the first World Series, I kind of got that feeling, dude. He put banners. He had headshots for all the drivers. He had the DJ at the starting line. You can hear it in your car, when you're sitting there waiting to go. Yeah. He definitely makes a party out of a race, and he's taken something that I think was just kind of a bland, a bland thing, and kind of put his spice on it. And he's got his pulse on drag racing right now. His finger on the pulse of drag racing, and he knows what sells. And Wes is a flamboyant guy to begin with, and I think he knows how to show off. Let's just put it honestly. He knows how to show off, and that trickles down to what he does. And he's got a good crew, JT and Carpenter and all these guys that help him. And dude, it feels like it feels like a U.S. national race. I've never been to a U.S. national race, so I can only assume it just feels like every time you go, there's a U.S. national race. And it's awesome what he's done for these 3 races. He's made these 3 races top tier in drag racing.
Yeah, I think you have to look at that as such. And I think it's kind of one of these things where it kind of gets the ball rolling for racing for the new season. Like, everybody's kind of getting into a little bit of a rhythm, especially for you pro mod guys. Everybody's getting into a rhythm. It gives you an opportunity early to get your adrenaline going, get that competition going early, and get you rolling for wherever you choose to go, NHRA, IHRA, or whatever. He's done an excellent job with this thing, and it really is something to see all of you guys and how everyone responds in this moment of it's pressure packed. You know what I mean? It really is, with everything that's on the line. Especially for you now, you have an opportunity to seize something that only one person can do, and that's cash in and get that million. This has got to be fun, though, right? For you,
Yeah, yeah.
even though there is a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. I mean, I'm kind of used to pressure because I've been to a lot of tight championship battles, and the PDRA, the drivers over there are just every race is like a cutthroat deal. And I've kind of gotten used to pressure over the years. It definitely doesn't make it easy, but it definitely, you know, it's just like a quarterback. If you get a quarterback like Brady or, Phillip Rivers and all these guys that go in, they're going to have a little more confidence going in than maybe say a Brock Purdy. I'm a Niners fan, so Brock Purdy or what's the Patriots guy?
Drake May.
And Drake May played for Carolina, so you'd think I would remember that. Drake May, Mahomes is going to be sitting there chill. Hey, I've been here before. I know what I need to do. These guys their nerves might get to them a little bit.
Yeah, most definitely. Is there anyone you looking forward to racing early in that U.S. Street Nationals?
No, I'm not looking forward to racing any of them. I think there's a lot of guys that are avoiding me, but I'm avoiding them just as much as anybody. I know Spencer Hyde's coming back. He's taking Ken Cartuccio's, and Spencer's tough, and that was a blow. I kind of talked to Ken, at the end of the last race, and he kind of told me that things in his company were juicing up, and he wanted to be able to he wants to be able to race, so he's going to have to pay a little attention to that. I didn't really see Spencer coming back, but I think it's great for Spencer. He can kind of get back in the seat, and he's probably got a little lazy running those funny cars.
Yeah. Maybe it might be a little bit of rust build up there from running that funny car. Does the chip draw take any pressure off for you, or is it something that you probably would rather have a ladder?
I hate the chip draw. It's not that I hate the chip draw. It's just it throws. I mean, it's a very big variable in the race because when you're sitting there, Saturday night after you've qualified, you're looking at the ladder. You can kind of pave your path through there. Okay, I need to do this against this guy, this against this guy, this against this guy. This one might be a little easier. This might be a little harder if this guy wins. I mean, it's just like the NCAA platform. I mean,
right.
It's just you got to look at with the chip draw. It's basically like you took the top 5 NFL teams and you just randomly picked who's going to play who and who's you don't know. So if you get 2 good drivers that knock each other out first round, then that's one good driver that's gone or a good car that's gone. And there's a lot of great cars out there, but obviously the guys that are lower in the field might be having a bad weekend. They can kind of get lucky because they can get somebody kind of close to them, and some of the top tier guys can draw each other. So it narrows the field down. It gives the guys that are having a bad weekend or maybe stumped their toe during qualifying, it kind of gives them a breath of fresh air if they're lucky enough to draw the right chips.
Yeah. Does even though you have the ladder, can you kind of get ahead of yourself a little bit and start looking ahead when you have that ladder? Or is it more so, I'm looking ahead, but I also know, okay, I know how these 2 guys in this particular matchup, one of those guys I'm going to face, but I know how those 2 guys are running, and I kind of can prepare for either one as I go down that ladder.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely can look at matchups and see a favorite. I mean, I think you can see that in any, even fuel or funny car or whatever these guys do. You can kind of see a favorite in there, and it's 50-50 shot. So sometimes it doesn't work out, but you can kind of tell depending on time of day, when we run, who's going to run who's going to be probably the favorite in that. You can get ahead of yourself, and you can get a guy who just finds a way on Sunday that couldn't find his way the rest of the week. And those Hail Mary deals can get you every time. I mean, if a guy goes up against me and, I'm qualified at a 56 and he's qualified at a 62, he doesn't have anything to lose. So he's going to throw everything he's got at it. And I'm looking at a guy who ran a 62, the best he's run, and thinking, okay, the best he can run here is a 4 or 5 because we're in the heat. And he hits it and I just lay off a little bit. He can bite you. So you can't run it like that. You got to run it. You got to run it balls out every run. You got to maximize the speed and the ET of every run.
How do you keep yourself focused and even killed with knowing what you have on the line? $1 million, an opportunity to get $1 million, if you can pull this off here and continue that streak. How do you keep yourself even keeled and not get ahead of yourself and let the moment get too big?
Just pretend I'm not going to get it.
Yeah.
Just know that this is not going to be a guaranteed thing. You're going to have to work hard, and you're going to have to make sure there's no mistakes, and you're going to have to run 10 rounds of your life. You're going to have to be perfect 10 rounds. The car's got to be perfect. You got to be perfect, and nothing can break for 10 rounds. And, with the companies I've got behind me, like LAT Oil and Proline and Hoosier Race Tire and Harts Charger, these guys that stand behind me, they make my job easier. I just got to make sure I don't screw up, and then I got to make sure that we make the right decision for the track temp and the track conditions of that thing. I don't really look at it as maybe I'm a contender to win it. I'm just thinking, hey, I'm lucky enough to be a part of it where I can maybe get a chance to do it, and I'm gonna do my best to get that chance. And if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. If I do, I'll be having one badass pro mod.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to get a little off before we let you get out of here. We'll get a little off track here and onto the football field. You're a 49ers fan. Can't say enough about Kyle Shanahan and what they were able to put together in that football game to be able to really, with a defense that has been riddled with injuries. They've been injured along the offensive line. Of course, my guy, Trent Williams, always will be my guy. Trent Williams gets back last week, really was a huge help in that win. You're going to Seattle for this one. How do you see this thing playing out?
Seattle's tough. I mean, it's always been a big rivalry for the Niners. Purdy's been playing really well. I'm really impressed in the last 3 or 4 games he's had. I feel like he's got his head on his shoulder. I felt like he looked a little lost, last year on the field. I feel like he's kind of taking control. I think he's kind of got that, I don't have anything to lose attitude going on, and he's kind of playing the ball a little bit. He knows he can run. He's athletic. As long as McCaffrey stays healthy, I know losing Kittle was tough.
Yeah.
But Kittle had been out for 3 or 4 games back on and off, and he's not, the other guys just stood up, and came to it. Defense is probably our problem right now. I mean, I think we're going to have to really play some good defense, and they play great defense against Philly. And Fletcher Cox is a good friend of mine, and I was talking shit to him the whole game. And best thing I can do is for the Niners. The same thing I can do for myself is hope for the best, and we'll see what happens. In my heart, I want them to win. I want them to go to the Super Bowl because I told my wife if they go to the Super Bowl and it's in Santa Clara, I'm going. I don't care what it costs. I'm going. I got to go. So,
yeah, I give you my analysis here. Covering the league. Look, I think what people forget, and all of these teams have some sort of a flaw, and that's why it was really, I said it in the beginning, anybody's race here to get to the Super Bowl. What I like about the 49ers is the composure of Brock Purdy, the versatility of Christian McCaffrey. And I thought the guys who are the no-name tight ends really stepped up and made plays. He dropped some dimes in there on offense, and Kyle called a great game. I think what the 49ers can kind of look to in this thing is that offensively, Seattle has not been overly consistent. If you can somehow limit Jackson Smith and Jigma, they become a little bit of a stalemate. Now, it's also going to be contingent on not them allowing them to get that two-headed monster of that running game going between Chardonnay and a Walker. If you can just limit Jackson Smith and kind of you can't stop them, but kind of contain them, I think they have a real shot at winning this game. I don't think the Seattle 12th man is going to make much of a difference here. I think you got a team in Kyle Shanahan who's been here, done that, has been in some of the biggest games, and will have his team well prepared. I think this is a really close one, and I honestly feel that this is a game that the 49ers can pull off. That was a tough game last week.
Yeah.
That was a tough game last week. And if you're looking at it on paper and you look at all the injuries that the 49ers had, you would have been like, yeah, I don't think so. They might hang in there, but no way they're going to make it. Kyle has this thing dialed in. And whatever's going on, the guys who have come in at linebacker have stepped up and made plays, and I think the 49ers win in a close one. I really do.
I hope you're right. I really do. I mean, it's going to come down to the wire. And right now, I feel like the whole league is kind of shook up a little bit. I don't feel like one team is dominant. I think the Broncos got a really good defense.
Yeah.
They got a really good defense. The Texans proved last night that their offense can hang in there too. I mean,
yeah.
So I feel like they're all pretty evenly matched. One might be a little bit better than the other. I think the Rams fall out. I don't think they can carry on momentum. I went to the Panthers game and it was pitiful. I mean, coaching staff there needs to be fired. I can't believe they didn't do it today.
Yeah, I don't understand what they were doing there.
They
had the game. They had the game, and the prevent or whatever it's a new version of prevent where we're going to play 10 yards off the receiver. We're going to play man-to-man with kind of a little bit of zone on the back end, and we're just going to let you methodically move the ball down the field and give you a score, basically.
And you can't do that against the Rams. Rams are a fourth-quarter team. I mean, I was at the game, and, dude, just the atmosphere in the stands was really good once we kind of came back.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not a Panthers fan, but I root for the Panthers, and I love football. But some of the piss poorness plays, you got 4th and 1 on your own 30 in the beginning of the game, and you try to pass play. I mean, I don't know if that was Bryce Young's pick or what. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, Bryce is so small.
He is,
and I think if you really see him in person, he's a tiny dude for a quarterback, and he can't see over the damn O-line. So, I mean. Go Birds. Yeah. We done killed one bird. We'll kill another one.
Exactly.
Yeah. You can't run the prevent when you got them. Know the Rams are a fourth-quarter team. And it's like giving Patrick Mahomes the ball back with 2 minutes left in the game.
It really is.
And just letting him go, 30 or 40 yards. You know what's going to happen. And, if we're smart enough to see this and we don't get paid to do this.
Right.
Somebody up in the upper management here has got to see something. But
yeah, it really is. It was baffling, and I think we've seen that a lot this year. I'll say Chicago won spite of Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
because Ben Johnson did the exact same thing, and he'll do it again because his ego gets in the way. It's the reason why they lost. The reason why he lost the game against the Washington Commanders. In the NFC divisional game last year, because you got too cutesy for no reason, and you got out of what got you there. He took too long to get his quarterback settled, because all it takes is for a little bit of frustration to set in, and Caleb Williams is off the rails. He does not play well. You got to get him plays to get him back in the rhythm of things and get his confidence back up so he can settle down. If he doesn't, it's going to be an ugly game. I think that the Rams defense they do a good job for about 2.5 quarters.
Yeah.
And then the wheels fall off somewhere in the second half.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get where some of the coaches' heads are at this year. And I just heard my wife just told me that Tomlin left today.
Yeah, he stepped down.
And then you got the Ravens firing probably one of the most successful coaches that's been. I don't get, but hey, I don't pay the bills, so
exactly. It has been very interesting off season with coaches firing and everything. Really, it's. Some of it's very, very questionable on what we're doing there.
Well, I'm just glad I'm not in it and I don't have to make decisions, but
exactly.
We'll see, if we can get past the Birds, then I think we'll end up playing the Bears. And I really think it'll be a Broncos-Niners Super Bowl. That's what I'm predicting.
Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see that.
I think the Texans are going to stun the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots can carry enough momentum.
They got away with one. Chargers were wounded on offense all around, and the defense just couldn't carry it. They did as best as they could to keep it close. I felt like if they could have gotten one explosive play for a touchdown, could have hit on one of those that maybe were missed, likely the Chargers win that football game. They just couldn't get out of their own way, And
No.
they got fortunate in that football game, but I don't think they escaped that Houston Texans defense at all.
Yeah. I agree with you. I mean, Keenan Allen did what he could. Herbert was he was rattled bad.
Yes.
But I mean, it was
He was
just,
getting murdered back there.
yeah. And if you tap today's quarterbacks, they get rattled. They don't like to be hit. So
No, not too many of them. Not too many of them like to be hit.
no.
Well, Jason, thank you
Yep.
so much for coming on the show. I'm looking
Yep.
forward to you at the U.S. Street Nationals. Man, go out there and get that thing, man.
I will.
Looking
Yep.
to hang that $1 million banner up, boy.
I appreciate it.
It would be
Yep.
nice.
It would. It'd be bang, 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 Niner gang.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
Look forward to talking to you again, Jason.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Jason Harris, everybody. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a fun, winter series race again. We know Wes Buck does an excellent job of putting things together and making that thing bigger than life. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be real fun to watch. So make sure you guys take the time out. And if you can get there, get there. If you can't, watch it. It's going to be fun. I love everything about what that brings out of those drivers, and they definitely bring it to the starting line. But if you best believe if he can do it again, it's definitely going to be party time, ladies and gentlemen. You know it. I know it. Everybody knows it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and go to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about some NFL news first. If you missed any of the Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall in 2025, go ahead to their YouTube channel. They're all are there, I believe. So if you missed any, go ahead and watch them. I like the Jim Dunn one a lot. That one was really cool to kind of listen to him talk about old things, old times and whatnot. And next year is going to be, I think it's going to be just as fun. And I think they're going to do some things differently as well. So I'm pretty sure all of you guys will love what's coming up here for Talking Funny Cars with Buddy Hall. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've had, as we spoke about earlier, I did put out a reel on that, but I was kind of looking at the other side of this thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But Mike Tomlin, after 19 seasons, calls it. It looked like the guy was tired. It really did. Being somewhere for 19 seasons can wear on you. Last couple of seasons, there's been a lot of fan complaint about them not being able to take the next step. And I think where a lot of, fan is short for fanatic. So obviously fans don't 9 times out of 10 do not see the forest for the trees. But you have to think about it if you're a Steelers fan. They have always had a winning season, but never could really get over the hump, especially since Big Ben has left. And their biggest problem is that they've never been bad enough to be at the top half of the draft to obtain a generational talent at quarterback. Think about it. They've always had journeymen after Big Ben has been there. They've never been at the top to pick up a Drake May, a Jaden Daniels, a Jalen Hurts. They haven't been there. And that's where they have to get to. They have to find a way to grab a quarterback in this draft, in any draft. They need to rebuild at this point. And let's not take that word rebuild as a negative, because you can retool and reload and still be rebuilding. I mean, we've seen the Commanders do that. Obviously, this year, different story, but that story also is coupled with 30 injuries. There were, I think, over 100 games factored in that were missed by 30 different players who were injured at any particular time a good handful of those were IR, out for the season. So that makes a huge difference on a team that is trying to rebuild but still retooling to stay competitive. I think Tomlin sits out for a year. Maybe he does TV. It's going to depend on how much traveling he does. I could see him taking Matt Ryan's spot at CBS. Great fit there. Two Pittsburgh Steelers coaches on the same panel. If he's not up for all the traveling, then maybe a Amazon Prime is where you're at, where you're not really traveling every weekend for the season, and it's just Thursday nights and not as many games, right? So that's if he chooses to do that. What people fail to realize, and I had made some comments online about possibly him going to the Raiders, but he's still under contract there, and he was not fired. He stepped down. So the Pittsburgh Steelers still own his rights for the next 2 years. So if he sits out this year and he decides to come back and coach next year, the next team will have to give up some type of draft capital. If you remember a few years back, Sean Payton steps down from the New Orleans Saints job, steps aside, decides a year later he goes into TV, decides to come back to coaching. And there was a first round and a second round draft pick that had to be given up by the Denver Broncos to get Sean Payton. And that was done. So where do the Pittsburgh Steelers go from here? Well, I put out a hypothetical on the NotBland Show Facebook page, and we'll do more of that, those reels, and get your comments and thoughts on some of those things as we go through with the college football and these playoffs. But Matt LaFleur is kind of a coach some would say is on the hot seat. I don't see why. I understand playoffs and wanting to win, but I mean, at the end of the day, who is better out there? If you give me a name outside of Harbaugh, I might consider it and may not. But would you trade for a Matt LaFleur and your quarterback who is sitting on the bench over there, who came out, played for Jordan Love as he was injured a few times and really produced well, and Malik Willis come over and run this offense? Kind of today's quarterback. Guy showed some really poise and ability to be in the pocket, make plays from the pocket, and can use his legs to get out of harm's way and make some hay if necessary. Just a hypothetical. But they've got to find a way to not only get a good coach, because we know this will only be the fourth coach, I think, in history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So they have to get this right. They normally do. But you also have to have a quarterback because Aaron Rodgers is out of here. He's going to go into retirement. So you are now quarterbackless. I think it's a good choice. I think it's a good play. Maybe you don't get Matt LaFleur, but I think you have to make a play for Malik Willis. I think he's going to be he's had time over there to kind of learn. And I think he's kind of found his legs and could be a great addition for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Finally, we know Drag Race Mayhem has been calling for this. Thank you, Will. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for joining the family. Drag Race Mayhem has been talking about this. Kevin Petula out as OC. But again, how convenient is it that, again, Nick Sirianni gets to pass the buck to the OC? When a lot of this, I believe, because Petula was an inexperienced offensive coordinator, he had some say in what was going on. And if, like I've said before, if you go back and look at the years before Kellen Moore, the offense kind of looks familiar, doesn't it? Not really good at running the football, not doing a lot of the things that Jalen Hurts does well consistently. Play calling doesn't really mesh very well. There's some head scratchers in there. Receivers are frustrated because they somehow, some way, you can't find a way to get A.J. Brown the ball. I don't know how that is, but you can't scheme that up. But he gets to keep his job. I don't know who you get as coordinator there, though. Does Mike McDaniel take a step back and be a coordinator? I doubt it. I think he wants to be a head coach. Same thing with it'll come to me. With other offensive like coordinators out there. And again, I think the Eagles have to get someone, first of all, that is going to marry well with what they have offensively. This will be the fifth or sixth offense if they decide to bring in a new offense and not work with what Jalen Hurts has been doing with between Kellen Moore and what they're doing now. Whole new terminology again. So they will take a step back because you new checks, new protections, schemes. So who do you get? And do you have that person come in and tailor things to what Jalen Hurts already is comfortable doing? That's the question. But they're going to have to get a name at coordinator because it's clear when Kellen Moore was the offensive coordinator, Nick Sirianni could just focus on coaching. But I don't think he trusts individuals, especially when they prove that they're kind of inconsistent. He puts his fingers on the puppet and starts pulling strings. And he has every right to. He's the head coach. At the end of the day, it falls on him. But once again, he gets to escape being released. So, very interesting stuff there. Who do they get in that department? It's going to be interesting. I'm really, really interested in that. Jim Harbaugh taking all kinds of interviews here for coaching jobs. I'm not sure where he goes. I think he's the domino that has to fall to get everybody else, starting to put in the pieces of these other coaches coming in. We got 9 jobs available, ladies and gentlemen. 9 jobs available in the NFL. Well, your NFL divisional rounds are now upon us as we have finished our wild card rounds last week. Your matchups you have on Saturday at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. CBS will be the Bills versus the Denver Broncos, 6th seed versus 1 seed. Bills beat them in the 2024 wild card game 31-7. Buffalo has won both postseason meetings against Denver, including the 1991 AFC Championship game, which was at January 12th, 1992, and they advanced to the Super Bowl that year. Denver and Buffalo have both advanced to 10 AFC Championship games in their franchise's history. Denver able to close the deal and win a Super Bowl, not so much for the Buffalo Bills. Bills quarterback Josh Allen has the most rushing yards at 701 yards, ladies and gentlemen, and second most rushing touchdowns, 9 by a quarterback in the NFL postseason history, and his 309.5 combined passing and rushing yards per playoff game is the highest in NFL history among quarterbacks with at least 10 playoff starts. Tremendous stuff from Josh Allen. And once again, I'm going to just say, look, Josh Allen's going to have to be Superman in this one again. Played very well last week, and he's going to need to do that again in the Mile High City. And I think they have a chance because Denver's offense is very inconsistent. Great play caller, great offensive mind over there in Sean Payton, but their execution has been poor a lot during the season. You'll get solid play and then a half of questionable, what are we doing here? Why are we making false starts, et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be an interesting game, interesting chess match there. My question to you, does Sean McDermott keep his job if they lose this AFC divisional playoff game? They won the wild card game. Does he lose his job if they lose this divisional game? I thought if they lost last week that his job was going to be done. And I felt like if Sean McDermott is out as head coach, I think that's the first place that Harbaugh goes. Why wouldn't you want to coach Josh Allen? Might make them an instant Super Bowl contender and maybe a real threat to win it. Maybe. We're looking at your next game that will be on Sunday. The Houston Texans versus the New England Patriots. 3 p.m. Eastern time. That will be on ESPN and ABC, ESPN Plus, all the channels there. The Patriots have won 8 consecutive divisional playoff games, January 14th, 2012 to January 13th, 2019, the longest such streak in NFL history. The Texans, with a win, can advance to their first ever AFC championship game. So that'll be fun to watch there. As two teams, I think this is a team in the Houston Texans that as long as they can be a little bit more, they turned the ball over like 3 or 4 times this week and they still won. It's like the defense doesn't even watch what the offense is doing. They don't give a crap. They're in their own little world to just go out there and do their job. Like it's their show. They don't even care about what the offense is doing at all. Just run it. We got you. And I'm looking forward to that matchup. It's going to be fun. We talked about it earlier. San Francisco and Seattle Seahawks. You got an early prediction from me if you're a Seahawks fan or a Niners fan. I really think this is a game that the Niners can win. Look, Mike McDonald in his second year at head coach, there's a lot of good things that they've done on defense, and they deserve credit for that. I think there's a lot of things, though, that he's not ready for from a Shanahan. Kyle is his daddy's son, and I expect them to scheme up some things to take advantage of what they like to do defensively. And they really like to get downhill on you. They really like to be disruptive, whether it's in the run game or the passing game. And they're aggressive. And the way to combat aggressiveness is allow guys to flow up at you and you dump it off to your quick back in McCaffrey, or you toss it to Jennings, or, whoever that they've gotten involved in this in the game and allow them to make plays for you. You can get behind this defense. And with their offense, Sam Darnold, excellent job as a quarterback, done really good again for another team. But we cannot ignore the inconsistencies with this offense. Their passing game struggles at times. If you're able to bottle up the run and kind of contain it, sometimes it's really, with those two guys, their elusiveness, it's hard to stop completely. But if you can contain it, you can put them in a 3rd and long situation. Most of the time when they've been in those situations, they haven't converted consistently enough. Their offense has become anemic, whether it's in first half or second half. I think that's going to play a big role in how the Niners win this thing. Another week, I thought some of their young linebackers that they brought in this past week, they were great tacklers. They didn't over pursue. They did their job. They didn't try to be heroes. They just did their job. And that is, you'll take that all day over having a star player out there when you can be consistent and mainly get your open field tackles. Don't allow a whole lot of yak and, make the plays that are there. Don't try to do more than just your job and your assignment. And I thought they did that well this past game, and I think they'll do that well here and get the W. Last game of the and that game will be Saturday at 8 p.m. on Fox. So if you have the Fox app, that Fox One app, you can watch it there. So it'll be there, 8 p.m. on Fox. Last game on Sunday, 6:30 p.m. on Peacock, NBC, will be the Los Angeles Rams and the Chicago Bears. I take the sentiment of Jason Harris in that this is going to be a tough game for the Rams. They cannot continue to have hiccups offensively. They have the ability to blow the doors off of anybody. But unfortunately, the team as a whole kind of falls into a little bit of a sleep or lethargic play, and they allow teams to hang around. This is one team, despite their coach, because of the quarterback, that can come from the deep, dark depths of the grave. They can be down several scores and find a way to win. Like I said, I tweeted it out during that game. It is imperative that Ben Johnson have his quarterback's head in the game for 4 quarters. Could you imagine if they had done things to get Caleb Williams into rhythm and build the confidence of him to be able to make those big-time throws he made late in the game early in that first half? They probably win the game going away. Because all they have to do is put pressure on the opposing team's offense to score, and it betters their defense because their defense isn't all that great. They're very porous. Sometimes I guess at times they take an Imodium or Pepto-Bismol and kind of tighten up. But for the most part, they're kind of runny diarrhea. Don't really stop the run very well. And they have a tendency to allow explosive plays. If you can run successfully, they allow those explosive plays off of play action. One thing I want to note in this game, I talked about it in the preview last week. There was a lot that the San Francisco 49ers liked to do, and that was, for the most part, running that 13 personnel. And they did not do a lot of that in this last, game for various reasons. They just were not able to get into any type of rhythm. And when you can't do that, it really kind of just destroys everything else. It really does. It puts you in a bad way. And they have a tendency to get behind the chains. And when you get behind the chains, you pretty much just allow defenses just tee off on you. Because they know you got to pass. You're not necessarily going to run a draw on, 3rd 12. You're gonna have to try to find Puka or somebody to make a play, and it makes it difficult. Makes it difficult on a play caller. It makes it difficult on a quarterback. Especially Matthew Stafford's not going to he's not going to wow you with his feet, right? He's not going to run out of anywhere. So I'm very interested to see how they go about their business this week. But they're going to have to be flawless because, again, Bears thrive on being able to come back in games. They've done that repeatedly this year. And as long as Ben Johnson can get the heck out of the way and not make some of the dumb calls he made it in the first half of that football game, they likely could really get up on this football team quickly and make this thing very interesting quick. So we don't like Nick either. Yeah, I exactly. I just don't. I don't. I thought the kid who they caught after the game, dude, that was classic. Talking about like him cooking burgers and some done and then the others are raw. Like that was good. That was good stuff. I don't care who you are. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go to our final thing here. We'll pay attention to your comments in this last 10 minutes. But here's the segment.
Let me talk to you.
Let me talk to you. So, if you haven't been living under a rock, there was a reporter right after the Jacksonville Jaguar game. Wasn't necessarily a question to Liam Cohen, but it was an uplift. She told him to keep his head up. Did an excellent job this season. And he did. He really did as a head coach. With that football team, got his quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, towards the end of the season playing really good football. Didn't really pan out in the playoffs, but they fought hard. And right after that, we've got a whole bunch of hypocritical meatheads that are commenting that, oh, she's a fan. You shouldn't be doing that. Half of these people making these comments, first of all, didn't do any research. This woman has been covering this team for 30 years. She's earned the right to say that. And to be honest with you, there's nothing wrong with what she said. There's one thing you guys know about me. It's less about the story and it's more about the relationships. Because if you build the relationships, you treat these players, these drivers as people, the stories will come. Half of these people making comments are the ones that the players don't want to talk to because you're the one asking the ridiculously idiotic question that's Captain Obvious during a press conference. And you wonder why the coach snaps at you. You go and you post mugshots of people when you don't really know the whole full story about what's going on with said player to make a name for yourself. You do snake-like business. And I'm sorry, that may be okay for you, but that's why people don't respect you. And I wish people would not talk about what someone should do and talk about press etiquette when you've never been in the room. I mean, I've seen some guy comment on it, and you've never been in an NFL press conference locker room at all. So how do you know what goes on in there? Look, I can tell you from experience. Most people are in there, it's like, sometimes it's like 20 people, sometimes it's 10 people, sometimes it's 30 people, but everybody don't have questions. Some people are just in there, they have their tape recorder up on the podium, and they get their soundbite, they move on. Some people are in there to ask questions to get guys riled up to get a soundbite. I don't like that either. But, there's a lot of TMZ-like reporters out there. But that woman has put in the time and earned the right to do that. And quite honest with you, the way that we carry our business here at Sports Journey and how we respect the player, how we build a relationship with the player and the driver, sometimes I'm not even talking to these people about anything to do with drag racing or football. We're just talking about life, shooting a breeze, like regular people, like buddies. And I appreciate that from coaches to crew chiefs, to people who work on the cars, to drivers, to PR people. It's about respecting folks. And all these people talking about, well, if I had said that, I wouldn't be in the room. You's a damn lie. Because half of y'all have said some of the most asinine things in rooms, and you still have your credentials. So let's not go there. Everybody has a style, I guess. But the style that I've noticed that gains respect, that gains a little bit of reverence, that gets you more stories and more people willing to come up to you and telling you, hey, I want you to break this, are the people who show these players, coaches, a little bit of respect. Sure, you have to ask the hard questions, but it's all about how you go about your business. Now, half of these clowns who call themselves reporters or journalists or analysts are entitled little spoiled brats who think that they're owed something. The player, the coach, the team doesn't owe you jack squat. You got to earn the right. And I don't have a problem with it. You got to earn the right to be respected enough to get those stories, to get those explanations. Half of you don't even know the game well enough to be in the room to be talking about it in the first place. Do better. You people who want to be TMZ reporters, do better. For me, you just continue to do what you're doing. You're just helping me out. Because I'm always going to elevate and beat you out every day of the week and twice on Sunday. Because how we at Sports Journey and others, Bowie TV, etc., urban sports scene, how they go about their business. It's really crazy in these streets, man. And we are not about looking up and doing the right thing and actually doing a level of research before we open our trap or get our little Twitter fingers going. That's just the society we live in. It's really sad, honestly, especially with AI being as prevalent as it is. You can go right in ChatGPT. You can ask it pretty much anything you want, and you can find the answer to it if you're willing to have the truth being told to you, or are you just willing to listen to people who agree and go along with your thought process to make you feel good about the fact of how you feel about something. Just because those people agree with you and are a bunch of yes people and think the same way you do, don't make it right at all. Research and facts still matter, even though in this world it seems that it doesn't. It still does. And when you think that weirdness that you believe is fact when there's evidence that it's not, you're the dumbass. Just saying. What we got in the comments? Man, appreciate it. What we were trying to do and what's important now when you're trying to monetize, Blake, is that like here recently with the old intro, we've got the countdown. And the countdown was getting flagged for, it's just music. It was getting flagged for that music that was created by someone. So we wanted to get away from that because you continue to get flagged for things, you can't be monetized. So we've had success, and what a better way to have for the show to have its own specific song and intro. Dedicated, and this will be permanent. Might change the graphics and the view and all of that year by year, but the song will remain. It is what it is. And it's a fitting catchphrase. This is where the truth runs. I don't plan on telling you any lies. And at the end of the day, if we're wrong on here, I don't have a problem with coming back and saying, hey, man, I was wrong about this, and this is why I was wrong. And then I'll tell you what was right, what it should be. Because I don't have a problem with being wrong. I don't need to be 100% right because we all make mistakes and we don't know everything. Dragons Mayhem says people today don't want respect, they want clicks. Exactly, because that makes their wallet a bit fatter. Sometimes, if you're good at it, it's not that easy to make that kind of money here on social media. I can tell you that. My man, Nitro Performance guy. Appreciate you tuning in. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that has been the show. We've got this thing booked out for the next 4 weeks. We'll drop them out. We'll drop the thumbnails out as we get them. Next week, I have no problem telling you next week we will have Will Smith on the show. We will have him on. You will hear his voice. He will not be on. He has had some surgery, and it's on the facial area. He's still wrapped up, so he doesn't want to come on here looking like a mummy. So you will hear from him. We'll throw his picture up when he speaks, but he will be on the show. We will talk to him about this new deal that he's worked his tail off to get to, and I'm excited. I'm excited to really talk to him, and then we've got this thing booked out for the next 3 weeks. So keep coming in and keep sharing this show. Get some other people in here, man. Let's get these numbers up, and let's get people on to where, you know, we can get locked in and get things flowing and grow this family. I appreciate all of you guys here. I'll take this last one. We try to get out of here in an hour. Drag Race Mayhem says, have you seen Logan Paul and people like him do some people just do it, man. It really is. It's crazy how that works. Some people do it and some people don't. As you can see, I mean, I don't expect to be making any money off of here doing it this way. It's just, you know, I'm not wild enough. Tell your mom thank you, and I appreciate both of you watching the show, man, and the commenting. I appreciate it greatly, and I think you'll be happy with the guests we have coming up here. And we're going to try to build and keep ahead of things because I've got so much going on. I've got to stay ahead and plan better for the up and coming shows. Because I have to do research. Yeah, it takes a lot. Yeah. I'll see you guys next Tuesday as we talk to Will Smith. Appreciate you guys also tuning in to the new time of the Power Hour. Thank you so much. Hey. Until next time, be easy.
Cold crowd breathing like smoke, and it felt great in my voice when the pressure gets woke. Engine scream through the night. That F1 razor lines cut clean, turn sharp like a hometown savior. NASCAR drift in my blood when the pace get wild. I talk speed like a veteran, move calm like a smile. Legends born out of sweat, out of heartbreaks echo. I break plays down smooth, call the game like a maestro. Every lane that we touch, every story we show. This is where the truth runs. The NotBland Show. Fast lanes, fast breaks, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch a moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with the champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the NotBland Show. Fast lanes, fast breaks, whole crowd froze. Big drives, deep shots, watch a moment explode. Every angle hit heavy with the champion's glow. Step into the kingdom, the NotBland Show.